everyone, and welcome to another Vlogmas vlog, little behind the scenes moment in my day. It's been about a week since I've done one of these because I recorded and made several much longer videos that I've been uploading to the channel that I've been recording more formally using the camera, whereas these kind of Vlogmas behind the scenes glimpses I just do on my phone. So obviously doing all of those longer videos was quite a lot of work and just ate up a lot of time, and as I mentioned in the last video, I had the grandest intentions with this year's Vlogmas, and I'm definitely doing better than last year, but I'm still not managing to upload every weekday, and you know, that's just how it goes. I'm sure that no one is penalising me for it, so that's fine, but I did want to check in with you guys because I've been quite surprised actually about how well received my Vlogmas videos have been in general. Last year I noticed that because so many other YouTube channels were doing Vlogmas and some people actually doing vlogs in a more dedicated way, my videos just kind of got buried underneath all of that content. So I'm really like heartened to see that people are still watching my stuff, so thank you very much if that is you. It's just always so difficult, isn't it, when you make something and put it out into the world and then it's just kind of met with silence. So I'm really happy that you guys are out there, so thank you so much for dropping comments, you know, for getting in touch with me, for sharing my Vlogmas stuff and the Crimson Stitchery as well over, you know, on other YouTube or on Instagram or whatever. Thank you very much for that. I'm currently just grabbing a moment and I'm having my 11ths, which is quite an old-fashioned English, I presume it's English, I don't know if it's used across the British Isles as a term. 11ths is like a mid-morning snack basically, or it's basically like fika in Scandinavia. So I have got lots of things to show you in our little 11ths Vlogmas chat today, and I'm just waiting for my tea to cool down. I've got this very bizarre ceramic mug which has got it's matte on the outside, glossy on the inside, and then it's got these paints splatters of glossy glaze on the outside. I think it's only that pink one, and on the inside there's pale blue. And my friend gave this to me, my bestie, when she was clearing out to move back home to Geneva. She was like, this is a really special cup, you have to have this. So, okay, thank you very much. And in this, waiting to cool down, I've got my salted caramel Lebkuchen tea, which was given to me as a gift by Bird and Blend, so thank you very much. So I'll be tasting that and letting you know how it is. And then I've got a packet of Lebkuchen from Aldi, and I'm just sitting in my bay window in the secondary workspace that we made in the flat during the first lockdown, because of course lockdown is back. This is the third lockdown. London has gone back into tier 3. Honestly, I don't know what any of this stuff means anymore, but as far as I understand, it's lockdown because nothing fun or exciting is open and you're not meant to see your mates. So how long did it last? I think I recorded my first Vlogmases when it was opening up again at the beginning of December. I think it lasted like 10 days, 12 days. I'm sure it wasn't quite 2 weeks. Not very long, and I am so glad that I managed to go out and see my friends, see some different groups of friends that I've not managed to see in a while. And I tried to see my family, but we had a meal like outside in the garden, and I got so cold, like unbearably cold, and I had like an Arctic down waterproof parka, like a snow parka thing that I used to wear when I lived in Sweden when it was like minus 20 degrees Celsius, and it was only like 2 degrees Celsius, but I was so cold, it was just not fun. There's something about the British climate where you have the dampness in it that just kind of seeps in, and it's just impossible. Whereas actually when I was in Sweden, it was so cold, like on the thermometer scale, but the cold was very dry and kind of very clean, that it was tolerable and you could cope. But yeah, it was horrid. So I didn't enjoy that. My poor mum, she like was stoking up a fire and giving me more and more blankets and quilts, and I just didn't last more than a couple of hours. It was horrendously cold. So yeah, I'm really glad that I managed to do that safely, obviously. Fortunately, I myself have not succumbed to the dreaded pestilence, to quote my grandfather, the dreaded pestilence. And now back in lockdown. Yeah, sadness. Just while I'm waiting for my tea to cool. So today in our chat, I'm just going to show you a few nice things, and it's quite rambly as always. I'm just going to leave the phone there, sitting on the stand so that it's not too wobbly, unlike other videos that I've done. And what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, my design collaboration with Diana Waller is out in the world, and I made a much more detailed video about that. And here I've just got the calling card for Crimson Co, who provided the yarn for the designs. And we were meant to be doing a live stream this Friday evening, so in 2 days time, but unfortunately some unforeseen circumstances have arrived that make this no longer possible. So I just think it's just best to postpone. So thanks to everyone who said that they were planning on watching it, but we'll let you know the new date as soon as we've managed to make a decision on that front. Don't worry, we're both okay, but it's just some things out of our control that mean that we can't meet up on Friday evening, but we're going to do it again because I for one am really looking forward to it. I think it will be a really lovely experience and chat, and I'm sure it will be very interesting to watch as well. And I really like the idea of doing it live and having you guys have the opportunity to participate directly and ask questions. So that's Crimson Co. We're still not very Christmassy in our flat. I pilfered a branch of berries off a tree. Don't know what they are, but they're really lovely. They're off a proper tree. It might have been a rowan tree. I'm not 100% sure because the leaves were off, obviously, so I didn't know how to identify it. So I've got that sitting in an old bottle of gin and cheering up my desk. But Christmas cards have started to arrive. I even got a Christmas present through the post this morning from people that are more organised than me. So I think now that the December birthday has passed, I think probably we will start to decorate the flat. It just does feel has felt quite crowded this year with both of us at home, so much working from home, so much more, and also simultaneously. But with this new lockdown, my partner I think is going to be back at home with me, because in the old lockdown his building didn't close and was open for work, and he was required to be there. So for that November lockdown I didn't actually see him hardly at all, but this time I'm going to see him, and I think we found our rhythm at working at home together, which is good. So yeah, we're gonna have to decorate the flat, but it does feel quite crowded. But I did just go and pull out the baby Christmas tree into a dry spot in the garden and I need to like brush the mud off the pot and stuff like that. And then I dried out some orange slices, which I hadn't done before, and didn't quite go according to plan because I was trying to dry it in a sort of zero waste manner by just using the residual heat from the oven when I was cooking, and that worked out very well until we forgot about the tray in the oven and then switched it on, and they got slightly burnt. So they've got this like burnt caramel flavour, kind of like when you have it in a cocktail bar, when they light the skin of the orange on fire. It's quite strong, but like it's not unpleasant at all. And also some of the oranges were blood oranges, so they're quite dark anyway, so then obviously being a bit charred they've gone even darker. And these were just old oranges that were sitting in the fruit bowl because they actually didn't taste very nice. They were like really dry and flavourless, so forgot about them for a while and chopped them up. So yeah, I guess I'll do something with these. I was planning on making a wreath, but I didn't get around to it, and then the leaves dried out, so I have to try again. Okay, let's try this tea now. So yeah, I've got the salted caramel Lebkuchen tea, and the ingredients are Sri Lankan black tea, which I assume is Ceylon tea, which is very light and normally quite smooth as well. Apple pieces, cinnamon, rose hip, cardamom cloves, orange peel, and natural flavouring. So have a little sniff. I'm definitely getting the apple and orange coming through, which is really nice. and I think the cinnamon and the other spices are a bit more mild, and it just kind of just tastes like a spice blend, like something pleasant and warming. And the taste, I can definitely taste the black tea, which is quite nice because it's got that very slight bitterness and dryness that kind of cuts through. And yeah, it's light, it's tastes warm because of the ginger and everything, and I can definitely taste more of the spices from drinking it rather than sniffing it. Yeah, it's good. And then let's dip a Lebkuchen into that. So talking about the design collaboration I did with Diana, she called her hat pattern Lebkuchen after like star-shaped Lebkuchen, which I don't think I've actually seen that much in England. I do have a great aunt who's German, and so I think that was my first introduction to Lebkuchen, like aged 3, because she did a gorgeous German Christmas Eve every year with like an enormous tree with real candles on the tree and like velvet bows. It was the 90s. And she served the most delicious Lebkuchen and gingerbreads. But I still don't remember the star shape. I always remember them being round or maybe possibly square, and then and heart shaped as well. So I don't know, so we'll dip that in. Complimentary. Highly recommended. Yeah, and then you wash it down with the salted caramel Lebkuchen tea. That's a very pleasant experience. Look how happy my little mug looks. So thank you very much, Bird and Blend. Yeah, that's been really nice. I'm not normally one, as I mentioned, for all of these kind of different flavoured teas because I'm a bit of a purist, let's be honest. And also I just don't really have a sweet tooth overall, but I love spice. I love spice, like very heavy-handed and all of the spices, sometimes to my own detriment. So yeah, definitely good choice for me. And like I mentioned before, I think they've kind of got something for everyone, so it's just quite nice in general. Okay, so then the next thing I wanted to talk about is designing. So basically I feel like I'm at a bit of a loss because I did quite a bit of designing this year. I released a cowl, 4 sock patterns, and then these 2 accessories at the end of the year. So that's 7 new patterns, and I started working on a few more that got abandoned for various reasons. They just didn't quite work out, and it might be that I revisit those projects and tweak them when I feel ready. But I just feel like, especially with the end of this design collaboration that I did with Diana, it definitely feels like, you know, kind of clearing the decks and like it's time, and that there is time to start something new. I do have some really lovely hanks of yarn here that I was sent a couple of months ago by Julie of Black Isle Yarns, which is up in the Highlands in Scotland, very far north. So what was I going to say? Yeah, Julie sent me this really lovely yarn. I think she discovered me on Instagram via my sock knitting designing originally, and she approached me asking if I'd like to use some of her yarn in her designs. And Black Isle Yarns is a small company. I think it's more or less a one-woman business run by Julie, and it's all about supporting the farmers basically and paying farmers, you know, decent living, appropriate wages for their fleeces of their sheep, and also obviously ensuring that the animals are raised with, you know, really high standards of animal welfare and having things produced as locally to her as possible. So her little tagline is Black Isle Yarns, local, sustainable, natural. And of course wool is a wonderfully sustainable material in general. You know, if you look at the life cycle of it, I'm not going to get into that too much right now because it's not relevant. So then on the back it says made in Scotland, grown in the Highlands, spun in the Borders. And then this yarn uses some mohair and BFL, and it's her sport weight sock yarn, and it's quite a it looks like a very plump yarn, and she sent it to me to see if I'd like to devise some sock patterns for her. And there's one in this like gorgeous rich spring green, and then a natural white as well, or maybe it's been bleached, I'm not quite sure. No, it's called natural white. And then the other thing is that the coloured yarns are all hand dyed by Julie as well. So this is what I mean, like this lady is a powerhouse. So she sent me these yarns and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do a sock, like maybe I'll play with colours, and I'm quite interested in exploring working with colour in a way that isn't stranded colour work. So that's what I did with these designs here, where I explored colour blocking. And there are other techniques that you can also do in knitting, like slip stitching. But then I thought, actually, because it's so, it's really nice. It's like smooth, but it's hairy, but it's not like prickly, but it's very robust, it's crunchy, and obviously this is all unpaid promotion. I wish I was being paid millions of pounds to talk about really nice things, but that's not where we're at on this YouTube channel yet. So yeah, I was thinking about socks, and I was thinking about doing something with a cable. Oh, it's quite nice. It's a little pillow. And then I thought that because cables make socks quite chunky, because it's, you know, so much extra fabric for the twist, and also that this is a heavier sock, maybe it'd be nice as sort of boot socks or bed socks, house socks, you know, something kind of thick and chunky. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I'm really happy to be designing sock patterns using more natural yarns, because that's something that I've been curious to explore, but until Julie contacted me, I just didn't really have the opportunity to do that, especially as I had an early bad experience with a non-superwash sock yarn that shrunk basically, and that I wasn't very happy about. So I feel like it's definitely a learning curve, and that's one of the things I really love about knitting and about textiles and fibre arts, is that there's always different approaches, new materials, innovation, and different ways of doing things that kind of push you forward. So there's this project, but also I just feel like I'm at a bit of a loss in general for what to design next. I'm happy to do this sock pattern, but I also don't want to, you know, only do socks, and I don't want to become too pigeonholed, I think, in the future, because I want to make more things in general. But I'm wondering if I should stick with accessories, or if I should explore larger accessories like shawls, or actually if I should just go ahead and look at garments. And I am perfectly, you know, experienced at designing any of those things, but you just kind of have to make a decision, and I'm struggling to make the decision. So I guess I'm looking for a bit of guidance. What do you guys think I should do next? There are kind of advantages and disadvantages of both, but I think, like all creative people, you know, as much as I'm making my work for me and enjoying doing it, what gives you the real thrill and pleasure is when you see it go out in the world and see how, you know, it's received, and see how people create and interpret your ideas, and then kind of put it back out into the world and let it all become cyclical. So yeah, I'm really interested in getting your feedback about what I should do next. Should I venture into garments, or should I just stick with accessories, because they are fast, they're fun, they're lower cost as well, like a smaller investment of time, and also allow you to explore different techniques on the sort of, yeah, just on like a faster manner, whereas garments obviously is a larger investment overall, but then maybe they're more popular. I don't know, like what do you reckon would be a good way to spread my messages and you know, my brand and my ethos of the Crimson Stitchery through my work in textiles? You know, whether actually garments, if they were very popular, might be a way of that kind of getting out into the world much more. Okay, so I think I have shared just about everything that I had with you guys. Just a reminder that our live stream that was scheduled for Friday is now going to be postponed to a later date, and I'll of course let you know when that will be. And we'll see, like maybe I'll check in again with you guys on a few more days this week if I do something Christmassy. I know some people have asked me to play the piano, so I could try and do a little jam. It's just a bit difficult at the moment because my partner's working from home, and he's a composer and sound designer, so sometimes he needs to make noise, which, you know, it's fine, but it means that yeah, just like timing with like light and film and noise and all of the rest of it doesn't always quite work out. Yes, so I'm gonna sign off, stop rambling. I hope you're well. Let me know how you're doing this week in the comments down below, and how life is treating you this week in December. Okay, I'll talk to you again soon.